Rattler, who started 3 games, didn't win any of those 3 games when Derek Carr was injured earlier, but started the 3 games previously, and it looks like the experience showed a little bit in that second half.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Spencer being a rookie quarterback, getting thrown into the middle of a football season is tough duty against some good opponents. Those are learning experiences. Those are learning steps. I'm sure he was disappointed he wasn't able to start this game today. But on the flip side of it, Jake's earned the right as well to see if he can be that guy. First half didn't go well, but I think Spencer he has that dynamic playmaking ability that gets himself out of situations. You saw the arm talent, the zip ball over the middle to Foster. Nobody blocked the pass rusher. It looked like he was getting hit as soon as he threw the ball, but the quick release. Those are things that really excites the organization with Spencer and why they were excited about the draft pick. But every game, every play, every quarter is a learning experience in the NFL. There's so many things you're going to fail at before you can succeed, and it looks like, to your point, that he learned from those 3 other starts.
Yeah, Rattler looked a lot more calm, looked a lot better, and he had the first-team offensive line with him, so that probably helped him out also. Just the Saints defensively, though, they really, the yardage totals weren't what you want them to be, but you keep Washington out of the end zone except for the 2 times. And again, the 8 sacks was significant in this game because they finally get another sack late in the game to push Washington back a little bit more. They missed a field goal and give themselves a chance to win this one, but every time they seem to need a sack, they continued to come up with sacks.
Yeah. Oh, the pass rush, this was their best game of the day. Cam had 2 sacks. Chase had 2 sacks against his former team. I thought they did a really good job of containing Jaden for the most part. Listen, he's going to make plays. We discussed that. But defensively, this game could have got really ugly. This game was a game because the defense hung in there, like you said. They played play after play. If you would have told me they would give up only that many points to this Washington team, I would say we got a chance to win. So the time of possession, Washington owned it, 40 minutes to 20 minutes. That was huge. But again, you weren't giving up touchdowns. So the defense hung in there. I think that was the name of today's game. Hang in there, give us a chance to stick around. The offense kind of came to life in the second half.
Yeah, just bend a little bit, don't completely break. And offensively, they get another spark from Kendre Miller. He gave him a spark last week in New York when he goes 10 carries, 32 yards, gets a touchdown, 9 carries, 46 yards in this one, and a lot of pop down the stretch, especially in that last offensive drive to lead to the touchdown.
Oh, yeah, Kendre is one of those guys that at times I've been frustrated with Kendre. He's hurt, and I'm sure as a player, no one's more frustrated than Kendre, I'm sure, with suffering some of the injuries he's had. But every time you get frustrated with Kendre being hurt, he comes out here and looks like that. And just like against the Giants, like, okay, Kendre, I'm sorry for being upset with you, because he is a very talented kid. I mean, he's got good size, but when he sticks his foot in the ground, he goes somewhere. I mean, he's got tremendous burst and talent, and he may, depending on Alvin's injury, we'll see how serious it is. That was unfortunate because he was getting close to 1,000 yards. If Alvin isn't ready to go next week, now Kendre Miller, you've gone from kind of in the doghouse being injured all the time to now you're the featured back. So things change in a heartbeat in the NFL, but he has a chance to be a game changer. Yeah,
and that's been the only issue with Kendre Miller is his injury status. When he plays, he's effective, and he looks like he can be a bell cow type of running back. Tight end position. Foster Moreau comes up huge for the Saints in this one. He and Juwan Johnson have really given some productive games here of late. Those guys, generally tight ends can be the best friend of a young quarterback.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it because you're working those intermediate routes, easier throws, easier for the quarterback to spit the ball out quick. And I really thought, with the wide receiver position the way it was, when you lose a guy like Olave and Shaheed, next thing you go to is how do we get the ball to the running backs and to the tight end? So to see Foster and Juwan stepping up and then being targeted more, it's because of the mismatches that you can find in the middle of the field. You like those matchups, like we said, the ball comes out faster, but you're also working against linebackers or safeties instead of elite cornerbacks on the outside. Easier throws for your quarterback.
Yeah, now what do you think about the trick play? Because you get a 21-yard touchdown pass from Cedric Wilson to Alvin Kamara. It's got to be difficult for a guy to come off the bench playing another position, and the one throw he gets, he's got to nail it. Otherwise, you got to throw that play out for a few weeks because you can't run it again.
There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of pressure on that play. Hey, we're going to dial this up. Don't mess it up. And how about that drive, though? You go back to the play before that, Valdez-Scantling making the great catch in the middle of traffic. I mean, it was lifeless on the offensive side of the ball. He makes that catch. You see some juice come. Then the offensive coordinator gets a little bit of juice. He's like, hey, let's pull it out while there's some life in here. And Wilson throws that ball. But how about the catch by Alvin? I mean, that was amazing. You don't see receivers do that, let alone running backs. So it was a tremendous play. And that drive flipped the whole game and made it to the end where we were going for 2 to try to win it.
Yeah, Alvin can make it look really easy. Now, the Saints fall to 5-9 in this game, and unfortunately, that dims their playoff hopes. Has some opportunities or some chances or some thoughts, at least, to win the NFC South Division. Those obviously get a lot more cloudy with that loss, but again, a team that fights down the stretch. And now, Scott, you get into the situation where you're 14 games in, you got 3 games remaining. You have a tough loss. How do you get this team back up for a tough Monday night game next week against Green Bay?
Yeah, obviously, when you look at the win-loss and people say not mathematically you're eliminated, you have nothing to play for. Well, I think a lot of times in NFL locker rooms, that goes out the window because every day is an interview in the NFL. Every day you don't know whether you're going to be on a roster for a lot of guys. So you're battling, you're trying to put good film out there. But I think the one thing that helps finishing out this year is the opponents you're playing. Playing on Monday Night Football is a huge thing. Going to Green Bay to Lambeau Field, that's an iconic place. I think these guys on this team, these coaches, no one's going to think about the record. When you go into that environment playing in front of the nation, it's going to be fun whether you haven't won a game or you've won every game. And so I think the way you're finishing the season, the Raiders are going to be here for the last regular season game of the year, last game of the 2024 season. Then you go on the road against Tampa Bay and you want to kind of wreck things for them. So I think there's plenty to still play for. And like I said, mainly because of the profession. Every day's an interview, and you're either putting out good tape or bad tape.
I tell you, I can't tell you how much I like doing this with Scott because he's got a great perspective. Because when a guy's been through it, he understands all the nuances of it. We mentioned the Saints have an opportunity to hopefully create some nice things here down the stretch. We're waiting for Coach Darren Rizzi, interim Coach Darren Rizzi, as well as Cam Jordan and both quarterbacks, Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler. Now for Jake Haener, a tough go of it in that first half. Yeah. Just couldn't seem to get it going. He was sacked several times, I think 3 times, and he really just did not have an opportunity to establish much, even though he had that week of practice. But he looked like a guy who was making his first NFL start.
Yeah, against a good defense with some good pass rushers. Dan Quinn's a heck of a play caller. Anybody who saw the Dallas Cowboys the last few years and the defenses he was able to put together, they have pass rushers. They get after you. And it seemed like, Jake got all the week of practice reps, but there's nothing like that game speed. And that game speed, things speed up fast. Yeah. And there were some protection issues a few times, and probably guys were getting on him a lot faster than than he'd seen before. He played preseason, and he got all the reps against the scout team this week. That's a big difference than real live game reps. So, it would be interesting whether or not how they play out this quarterback situation the rest of the year, whether Derek comes back. If he doesn't, now you have the 2 young guys. But I thought Spencer did a good job. But Spencer had the 3 games to get some reps. So it'll be interesting. It's tough as a player to get thrown into that situation against a defense like that.
Yeah, and Spencer Rattler gets thrown into it in the second half where he doesn't take the majority of the snaps during the week, but at least he had that experience with that first-team offense. Just going forward with those 2 young quarterbacks, what do you make of it? Because I think both of them have shown some flashes, even though we didn't see the best of Jake, obviously, in this game, but both have shown some flashes that, obviously they're worth having around and worth having for the competition as the second quarterback.
There's no doubt. Especially, I love the rule now that you can carry a third quarterback. I think that changes a lot of things in the league. You have 2 young guys on 2 rookie deals, so it's not like salary cap wise you're strapped. And I just think you have an opportunity to really truly evaluate those guys. Obviously, when you draft a guy like Spencer in the 5th round, he was the number 1 overall high school recruit. There's a lot of upside to Spencer, and I think he brings an electric persona and a lot of excitement. You can see it, the playmaking ability, the quick release. I think he fits into the Kubiak offense really well as far as all the bootlegs and the perimeter plays. So I think from that perspective, Spencer probably has the advantage over Jake a little bit.
All right, we're going to go to the podium. Interim Coach Darren Rizzi is at the podium right now. He's ready to address the media.
Coaching, coming off the field, I just told the team that just a mixture of emotions because we walk off the field with a loss, but I don't know if I've ever been more proud of a team. So it's certainly a mixed bag there. Obviously, it was a tale of 2 halves. We did not play the game we wanted to play in the first half. That's a little bit obvious. We had 1 first down and we had 14 total plays, and that wasn't all on the quarterback. We felt like we needed to make a change there at halftime. We did. Spencer did a great job, came in, provided some spark. But not only that, we played, we only gave up 6 points in the second half, which gave us a chance to win. But as I just told the team, we needed 1 more play, and unfortunately we dug too big of a hole there in the first half. We dug a 14-point deficit. So, listen, when I took this job on my first day, I told everybody that we weren't going to lack passion, and we weren't going to lack fight, and we weren't going to be boring to watch. And I've never seen a group in there fight harder, be more passionate. And certainly that was an exciting second half of football. I wish that we would have duplicated it for 2 halves. But at halftime we said, hey, we're going to find out a lot about ourselves and how we're going to respond and, what kind of fight we are, because that's what we've been talking about for these last 5 games in 6 weeks. So, as I just told the group, I have been extremely proud of the way that everybody in the locker room has handled the situation in the last 6 weeks and the last 5 games. And I didn't think I could be any prouder, but I was as proud as I've ever been walking off the field today, because that was just an unbelievable fight to the finish, and we were just one play short. So with that said, I'll take some questions.
After watching both of them play, like in hindsight, how do you look at your decision to start Jake over Spencer?
Yeah, listen, I think Jake's first half comes down to a couple of plays. One, he completes that third down ball to Cedric for a big play, and we're gonna have really good field position, and he gets called back for holding. And that was a huge swing, because we got sacked on the next play. So you guys can look it up. But that's like a 40-yard plus swing in the game, and that might change the whole entire half for Jake. And then he had another great throw to MVS. And listen, MVS had a phenomenal game, but MVS drops that over ball that's kind of on the run. And so you take those 2 plays, and if we don't get a holding call, which was suspect, and then if you don't, and if we complete that ball, we might be having a different conversation. I just felt like, and the offensive coaches felt like, we just needed a spark in the second half, and that's why we made that decision. I'm certainly not down on Jake. Listen, we only had 14 plays. They controlled the clock, they controlled the ball, they did all the things that we didn't want them to do coming into this game. And so, like I said earlier, it's not all on Jake.
But what makes you think that a spark was needed besides Jake if he only had 14 plays in the first half?
Well, we had 1 first down and we had 0 points. So it just, we were kind of reaching there for something. And sometimes, a fresh face in there. I've said this before. Jake and Spencer are very similar players. Just we need a little. I thought there was a couple plays. Although Jake had some positives. I thought we held the ball a little too long a couple times. Took a couple sacks. It wasn't all on him. It was some of the protection as well. So those are the reasons. Sometimes when you're in one of these games and you're just stale, you're looking for a spark. And we just felt like a change of scenery, a change at the position was the way to go.
How do you think the guys responded when it was Spencer winning?
Yeah, as I said at halftime to the offense, we just need the first score to get a little momentum going. Sometimes there's a snowball effect. And so I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had 1 first down in the first half. We had 16 first downs in the second half. Like I said, a tale of 2 halves. So it's just really we needed that initial, scoring drive to get a little confidence. When there's a big fat 0 up on there for a while, there's not a lot of confidence going on. And then so once you get that first score, everybody starts feeling like a little bit like on the sideline, like, yeah, we can do it. So that's kind of where we were.
Assuming the plan was always to go pursue?
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was predetermined before the game. I just felt like the way the game played out. AK had gone out. He was out for the game. MVS got banged up. We started to lose more offensive weapons. You guys felt the momentum shift there at the end. Listen, I don't regret it whatsoever. I don't think the players regret it. They're all in favor of it. And so I just thought it was the right thing. We managed the clock very well there at the end. I thought Kendre, Miller ran the ball really well there in the 2-minute, except for maybe the one play which we didn't block great. We completed that ball to Foster. We got the ball clocked. We got the touchdown. We left no time on the clock for Washington and Jaden Daniels. That was the plan. And I just felt, we talked during the drive if we liked our 2-point plays and all that. So when we scored, there was no doubt in my mind we were going to go for 2 and go for the win.
What do you learn about Spencer in a situation like that?
Well, it's the same thing that Spencer's been, and part of the reason we drafted him is, Spencer's not the tallest, not the strongest arm, not the most athletic guy, but he is a outstanding, he's a gamer. He's a classic gamer. It's what you put his college film on, that's what he was. He was a gamer, and he just has that natural, leadership ability. He's got some playmaking ability. I know in the 3 games he started, there were some bumps in the road there. He's a rookie, like any rookie. And so I think he learned from that experience. And so it tells me a lot about his character. It tells me a lot about his heart. The guy didn't flinch. He was excited at halftime to go in the game. He took on a leadership position. He never felt like one time in there that he didn't belong. And so all those things, I'm very, very proud of Spencer. Just told him the same thing.
How did you think the defense handled Jaden?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I signed up for 20 points before the game, yes. If you told me coming in they were going to have 20, I'm going to tell you we're going to win. And so he made some plays. That's what he does. That's why he won the Heisman Trophy. That's why he was drafted where he was drafted. And that's why he's having the season he's having. He's a phenomenal player. And we knew we had to kind of contain him a little bit. But he made some huge plays, two particular huge scrambles. He had the 4th down run for them where he jumped over the top, took a couple more minutes off the clock. He had some great throws. I mean, that's what he's doing. But, I'd be lying to you if I told you before the game, if you told me, hey, defensively we're going to give up 20 and then we're going to give up 6 points in the second half, would have signed up for that before. So I think overall, a solid performance by the defense. And, but Jaden Daniels, he's going to make those plays. You got to hope to contain some of them. And he made a few on us in crucial moments.
Yeah, I imagine it's even harder for Spencer Rattler to come in a game like that without having appeared in a game since week 8 or taken any first-team reps. What do you think it is that allowed him to get so comfortable so quickly? His preparation.
I think that he came into this game knowing that we did give him some reps during the week. He had the whole menu of plays, and a lot of times, once we decided that Jake was the starter. Spencer prepared himself like he was going to be. You never ever see, never a bad attitude, never never sulking, anything like that. This guy's a pro at a very young age. He's been through a lot. Obviously, transferred around in college, and he's been in a lot of systems. And it's a credit to him. He's a resilient person, and that showed today. So again, ultra proud of him.
And is there anything he was going to obviously the team was also struggling to run the ball at all in the first half, had a lot more success in the second half. Was there an adjustment made, just any improved performance? Anything?
Well, I mean, listen, we only had 14 plays, and it's hard to grade the body of work in the first half because we had some penalties mixed in there. We had some negative plays mixed in. We got behind the chains. We had third and seemed like third and double sticks a lot of times, and so it's hard to get any. We just got no momentum going there, and so that's kind of where we were in the first half. So,
Darren, at the end of the third quarter, what was the discussion with the officials? The field goal getting missed, and then
it got totally mismanaged. So. They had the diving catch. I didn't agree with it at all with the way it was done. So we had the diving catch, and I wasn't sure. I had the challenge flag in my hand, and I was talking to the sideline official, and I'm looking at the clock, and we're discussing it on the headset about, hey, the quarter's going to end here. They're going to take the quarter. And I got the challenge flag in my hand. I'm trying to figure out and communicate with up top whether or not we're going to challenge the catch or not. And I'm talking to the official, and I'm saying to him, hey, I might challenge this. Hey, the quarter's over, the quarter's over, the quarter's over, the quarter's over, the quarter's over for about 4 or 5 seconds. They let the play go. He misses the field goal. So whoever's in charge of shutting the play down, they obviously let the play go on. And so the explanation I got is it's a replay assist situation. The play shouldn't have been run because the clocks were at 0. The clocks were at 0. The clocks were definitely at 0. The quarter was over, but the officials missed that, and that's why the play was allowed to go on. That's where my gripe is. The play should not have been allowed to go on. They gave the field goal kicker basically a freebie. They gave him the miss hit. And so I've been coaching kickers for 30 years. You give a guy a warm-up shot, he's got a pretty good shot of making the second one. The success rate goes through the roof when your guy gets a second chance. So that's where my gripe was, is that it was a game management from the officials, operations. I'll let the league handle it, but I hope that everybody else gets held accountable in this league. I hope that the people that mismanaged that get held accountable too, because it was completely mishandled.
You obviously disagreed with the call against Peyton Turner as well. Did you ever get another look at the replay?
What made you think I did disagree with that?
They caught that on camera.
Yeah, I disagreed. You guys saw the play, so yeah, I'm skating on thin ice as it is. So I'm gonna bite my tongue, but I disagree with the call. Yeah, but it's a shame that 7 points in the game, because it was a 1 point game. So it's a shame that 7 points in the game come down to a penalty on a field goal block and a quarter that was over, and they let the play go. That's just a shame. So that's not a criticism. It's a shame.
What was the penalty that they called?
The explanation that I got is that Peyton Turner crossed over the long snapper, and his back leg brushed the head of the long snapper. That's the explanation that I got. So, the long snapper is a defenseless player. There's no doubt about that. If anybody is in favor of that, it's me as a special teams background guy. But they said that, you know, they showed the replay briefly. I'm going to have to go watch it. I'll come up with an opinion for myself. But that's on the replay that I saw. That's not really what I saw. So.
Darren, just so that we know, with the quarter ending after that missed field goal, were you still able to challenge that play if you wanted to, the catch beforehand, or with the quick break, are you no longer allowed to challenge?
No, since that field goal was technically a no play, then I would have been able to challenge it. We saw multiple views, and the feeling I got from the guys that are in charge of that up top is that there was no clear view that was not a catch. So I saw the play on the big board. I didn't really see a great angle, but there was multiple angles, and our guys that handled the game management stuff and the replay stuff felt like there wasn't enough to overturn that.
Derek asked about the protocol.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into Derek. Derek's still on the injury list. He obviously was inactive today. He's still out right now, so I'm not going to, he's going to be listed still with the same injuries. Yeah, I'm not going to get into all the details on that. So he didn't have a practice. But that's it.
What was the instant review on the 2-point conversion play, the decision to go with that play call, how close it came, or whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, every game you have a couple of a few 2-point plays up on the menu. I just felt like Clint and the offensive staff felt like that was our best call. Listen, it didn't work out. It is what it is. So, phenomenal drive getting down there and phenomenal drive getting us in a position to win the game, but unfortunately we didn't execute that last one.
Am I rolling him out?
Touchdown catch?
I'm sorry?
Did Alvin get hurt in the touchdown catch?
I think that's where he initially kind of felt something. That's what it sounds like from our medical staff. I'll get more information. He's going to get some imaging done and stuff, so I'll have more on that later.
On that 2-point attempt, by rolling Spencer out, is that kind of trying to play to his strengths in a situation like that?
I think it was more. Matt was more the play call that we liked. Spencer can obviously does a great job with the drop back stuff too. But in that specific situation, we felt like we knew the defense we were going to get. Felt like that was our best play call.
I'm not sure if we got a Kool-Aid McKinstry updates and it happened late in the game.
Yeah, all I know is if we had gone back on defense, I was told that he would have went back in the game. I don't know all the details of it either, but I was told during the game on the sideline that he. I was just told. I was told he was going to go back in the game.
It was a stinger, Riz.
Thank you, stinger.
Darren, how much was the decision at the end to go for it based on just feel and momentum, and how much was based on you all were going to do that maybe before the game?
Yeah, Jeff, I really think two major factors. One, the momentum. We had gained all the momentum back. I felt like if we kick the extra point and we go to overtime, now who knows who gets the ball? Jaden Daniels is a phenomenal player. Kool-Aid had gotten banged up. AK had gotten banged up. MVS had gotten banged up, and I'm just kind of looking and saying, this is our chance to win the game. And so it was probably number one, a momentum thing, and then probably number two, more of a personnel where we were in the game. And if you told me at halftime that, hey, the last play of the game, you're going to be throwing the ball to win the game, and so with the way the first half went, so I just felt like at that point, listen, I know there's the old adage about, go kick the extra point at home and go for 2 on the road and all that. We would have went for 2 in the Rams game too, just the way the game's played out. Now, if we had been scoring and the score was 45-45, might have been or 45-44, we kicked the extra point, maybe a different scenario. But just with where we were, I just felt like it was the right call. I don't regret it.
When you took the job, that you were going to be aggressive, that's the way you are naturally. I mean, does that feed into the same mentality you want to show your players?
I think so. I don't think there's a guy in the locker room that regrets that we went for 2. There's not one guy in there that didn't want to do that. The whole sideline, believe me, there was plenty of opinions. I got to make the final decision, but at the same time, I don't think there's zero. I have zero regret. I don't think the players do either. We were in a position the last play to win it. We got one play from the 2-yard line to go win the game. And with all that momentum, I just thought it was the right call. So.
You spoke last week about sort of the clean slate for guys like Kendre Miller.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, he's had nice days. What have you seen from him?
I'm extremely proud of Kendre. I'm really proud of Kendre because of the way he's handled the last couple of weeks. He's kind of just tried to block out all the outside noise and work hard, work on the things that he needs to work on, ball security and pass protection and the mental. He did have one mental in the game earlier in the game. I kind of got on him because we had to burn a timeout because we were in the wrong formation. Listen, his whole thing, Kendre's whole thing is if he can stay healthy and be consistent with the week-to-week game plan, you see the player that he showed the last 2 weeks what he's capable of. And I still think there's just so much football out there for that guy. And so, he's a guy I'm rooting for because I just think he's got a brilliant career ahead of him if he can take care of those two things. Yeah, I don't know. We got the extra day. Let's kind of see. Let's see where Derek is. Hopefully, an extra day helps his hand. Maybe heal a little bit more, and we'll kind of see if he's got function and that kind of stuff. But we'll reevaluate that. I mean, certainly Spencer just came off a really good second half here, so we'll certainly take that into account. But I don't want to make any proclamations yet. We got the extra day off, and we'll kind of see where everybody's at. So.
Anything else for Coach?
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. And what did you think about the decision to go for 2 at the end of that game?
Why not? I mean, the momentum was there. Rattler was playing his ass off. A big confidence boost for the young QB, and the way that the energy felt. There wasn't anybody on the sideline that didn't think we were going to make that.
There's been a lot of times you've faced mobile quarterbacks in the past where that has prevented sack opportunities because you guys have tried to stay in a protective shell or whatever. What was it about this game plan that allowed you guys to get out of 8 times?
Man, the hard work, effort, and the trust in the game plan of letting guys win off, the edge or, in the interior, wherever it was, instead of, trying to over game plan. It was simplifying.
And which is what? Trust that guys won't lose gap integrity?
Yeah, I mean, explain it, you insert over the, BY, which I'm not going to keep on. I'm probably going to keep on speaking high praises on, and just the way he was able to realize talents and utilize the D line to the best abilities since he sort of took over, and you can see the night and day sort of gameplay. When you have a guy who's a D line coach that's an X and O's guy versus a guy who's actually played the game and now knows how to, has been a D lineman for 30 plus years, you can see the effects.
Yeah, this is your first 2-sack game in a while. How has this last few weeks felt for you? In terms of how you've been playing, how do you feel?
I'm trying to get a win. Like, I can have all types of personal feelings, but I've always said personal accolades and everything else I'll talk about after the season. I'm trying to win somehow, some way. Does it feel great to be sitting at 120.5 sacks? Yeah. Would it felt better with the win? Absolutely. With 3 games left, got to be able to make the most of those. If it's not about winning, I really don't want to talk about it.
You said on Thursday that facing Jaden was going to be annoying. Was it as?
It was annoying. Yeah. He took off for like 60 yards, 40-something yards. How many yards did he end up with? It was 66 yards. Yeah, it was going to be annoying. You knew he was elusive. If you got past that first read, he was able to extend the pocket out. There's a reason why he's been electric this year. We knew going in we have to sort of break down in those lanes, and even when you want to go take your dive at them, you have to make sure that you have your defense rallying. I think that our guys did a great job of rallying. At some point, you knew you weren't, just because you won doesn't mean that you're going to win the rush. You win the rush, you have to be aware of where Jaden is, and that's something that we have to move on to the next game with, because we have another mobile type quarterback. Talk about Jordan Love is a great pocket passer, but he can extend plays with his feet as well.
Difficult guy to get to the ground. It seemed like there were several times where he was just wrapped up.
I mean, if you hit him too hard, it's a roughing the passer, as you saw on the other side. If you don't hit him hard enough, then he's able to be, he is a guy who lifts and runs and is an athlete, is overly competitive, overly athletic. And so, if he pushes for a double, then you got to push for a double. Sometimes you got to suplex him.
Did you find Chase to be extra motivated coming into this week with this being his former team?
No, kudos to Chase. He's really turned it on this last few weeks, and I think that's just the edge that he's had going into this final turn. For sure, today we felt that energy early on, but if there was, there wasn't a surplus of energy just because it was the Commanders. He's been, a great addition to the pass rush and the way that we were able to attack. And if you say motivated, I say, why not?
If you see the difference in the line and on your first sack, Chase went around the edge and kind of forced Jaden there. Are those the type of plays that
just weren't being made like earlier in the season? Like, have you noticed a difference the way that you guys are going to be coordinating your rushes?
Yeah, I mean, more so it was a middle read game. It was between me and Brian, and like a lot of sacks this year could, when you're running between those interior games, it could go one of either way. I'm glad it went my way.
Was there more of a point of emphasis this week to try and make him go more east-west instead of?
Yeah, of course. You don't want to go have a quarterback going north or south. You definitely want him to go lateral rather than towards a goal that you'd rather not let him have. Yes.
Was there also a little conversation with him kind of joking on that screen?
Yeah, of course. Hey, on the screen, I saw it and preemptively tried to jump it, and I probably was like a foot shy. And I was like, just throw it a little closer this time. Like next time, I just want to see who's faster. Like, if I catch one and I take off, can you catch me? I don't think so, but maybe we'll see. But we didn't get to see.
You showed some speed running down Jaden on that one. I mean, you forced him out.
What's new? Are you saying something that you never knew? Come on, Jeff, you've been watching this for 14 years. Am I supposed to slow down? Sure, if that's what up top has told you.
Thank you, Cam.
Cool.
Spencer?
All right.
Spencer, Darren said that you were excited about going in for the second half. Can you tell us a little bit about the conversation and just kind of what you felt?
Yeah, Janoko told me with about 30 seconds left in the second quarter that I'll be going in, so just have to shift my mindset. But I felt prepared from the start of the game, just in case. So no, I wasn't the emergency third this week. I was the backup, so I had to have my mind right.
That's kind of interesting. Lots of other questions, but this is the first time you've been the backup quarterback in the game. Did that affect, did that change how you prepared or did anything?
No, honestly, didn't have a lot of time on task this week, with the guys, so just had to come out of halftime and trust in what they do. I mean, these guys are incredible. Proud of how they fought up front, wide out, tight end, everybody, running backs. So, credit to them.
Is there anything that was beneficial about kind of, cheap expression, thrown into the fire or whatever, that they just got to go out there and kind of play on instinct a little bit?
Well, I think we had some more guys in healthy than last time. I think that's big. Eric, Caesar, Lucas, having MVS out there. Kevin, all these guys said, Kendre, AK for most of the game. It was good to have all those guys out there. Defense, same thing. Played lights out, I thought. Kept us in that game, and, we were one play away.
What did you see on that two-point conversion?
I thought Juwan got held, but, it's good players in this league. It's tough to make those plays, but I like the aggression. I like what we did there.
When did you know y'all were going for two?
What's that?
When did you know y'all were going to go for two if you scored?
We knew before the drive. We wanted to go down there and win the game. I think that's the mindset our whole team had. I want to say proud of the team because nobody flinched that whole game. At halftime coming out, nobody flinched. We believed that we could come out and go win the game, and we were an inch away. So, got to be proud of that.
Just on that two-point conversion, just what did it mean to you to know that they were willing to make that call with you in there? I mean, you came in the second half, rookie, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that are part of that.
Yeah.
They still wanted to do that with you.
No, I loved Clint's aggression in that second half. I thought he called a great game. I thought the guys played really well up front. We protected the ball, moved the chains. Groupie made some big kicks. We wanted to finish with 7 points, obviously, down there, but Groupie came in, knocked 2 down, and gave us a shot. And we went down and scored. Foster had some big-time plays. Kendre had some big-time runs. O-line blocked their butts off. So, again, credit to them.
What was your approach on that 2-minute drive when it comes to poise and patience? I mean, you used every bit of clock that was left,
Mm-hmm.
keeping the patience to not try to just start throwing for the end zone, I guess.
Yeah. I just think playing ball, understanding the situation, getting mental reps throughout the week in practice, seeing how 2 minutes, manufactured, how you're supposed to run it. I thought we ran it to a T and went down there with no time on the clock and had a chance to win. So it was an impressive drive from the guys, great calls by Clint, and great job by the defense setting us up to get that drive.
What did it mean to get another opportunity after the way your first 3 games went?
Yeah, I knew I'd have to be ready no matter what. what I'm learning is this league is crazy, man. Could be one thing another week and something new the next. So just always staying ready. I think that's what it comes down to. And then I think this time I just went out there and played my style of the game. Wanted to, cut it loose, play free, and was happy Clint, had that trust in our offense to go down there and execute and set up a chance to win the game.
Was it harder to do that the first 3 times?
Like I said, those were really good teams we played those first 3 times, and we had, a lot of injuries. You can see the injury report was a lot smaller this week, so that's a good thing.
Spencer, what does a game like this do for your confidence?
I think it's great to get out there and prove something. I've kind of just been sitting back, just watching how Derek plays, watching everything, learning. I think it was good to sit back and watch how it's supposed to be done for a few weeks. But again, third guy, second guy, first guy, you got to stay ready no matter what. So credit to Coach Dinoco, Clint, for preparing us throughout the week. He did a heck of a job this week.
Does it validate your performance? I mean, your preparation? You can come in a moment like that and perform?
I mean, yeah, that definitely gives you confidence. But you got to do it over and over. Didn't have any reps with the ones this week, so to be able to go out there and have that connection with them, I think that's big. Just to be able to adjust, to the things going on. So again, it wasn't just me. We got 11 guys on the field, and like Rizzy says, 1/11th. I feel like everybody on the offensive side of the ball, did their 1/11th that second half.
You mentioned before that if you got another opportunity to go in, that it would look a lot different. Is this closer to what you expected from this first 3 games?
No doubt. I was confident going in, and felt prepared. I don't think we took any sacks. O-line did a great job. We ran the ball pretty well. Converted when we needed to on third down. I think we were great on third down in the second half. Just got to still finish in the red zone. I mean, there were still some plays out there to be made. I think trying to force that one into Juwan up the seam. Lulu, number 4, made a good play on that. Should have put more touch on it. And just thinking of other plays. We could have definitely been better, but we gave ourselves a shot, and that's credit to my guys.
How important was the 3rd and 10 pass to Dante on your first drive? That kind of got things going, but I guess maybe how confident were you to make the throw in the first place?
Yeah, confident. Coach Dinoco prepares us for that look every week. We have that play. Looking at MVS first deep, they took that away, and we've seen so many clips of them bending that in on the dig. And Dante made a great catch. I actually threw it a little behind him. He made a great catch and got upfield, and it was a big conversion. And then obviously Cedric with the dime to AK, great catch there. Get some juice going, get some sparks going, momentum, and that was great for us coming out of half.
What was your reaction when you saw that play come in?
I honestly knew it would work. We've been holding that one in the holster for a little bit. Happy Clint called it. It was the perfect time to call it.
Spencer, just knowing that Riz was going to go for 2 if y'all scored there, I mean, feel like the head coach, the aggressive mindset, and knowing that he's going to go for the win in that situation, like, do y'all appreciate that?
100%. I mean, sitting at where we're at, we got to go out there and win the game. And I love the aggression. I love the mindset. I think you need that.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about what you saw in the big completion to Mark West?
Yeah, that was the exact look we repped this week. They did the defense is a really good defense at hiding their shells and holding to the last second and snap of the ball. They got to that too high and knew the middle of the field was going to be there. Honestly, took probably 1 or 2 more hitches than I needed to and made it harder on myself, but Quez made a great catch, and O-line blocked just enough, and, that was a big-time catch by him.
Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you. Yep.
What you guys got for me? Can't wait for this.
Well, why don't you just, review how you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm disappointed, right? Like, you go out there and you make a good play on, the 3rd play of the game, gets called back, which is tough. Credit to, the guys in the second half. I thought Spencer did a great job coming in and handling, the moment of the game and did a really good job moving the team. So, gave us a chance there to win at the end, and, I was proud of how he handled himself.
Obviously, Darren made a point about that play being called back and other opportunities that he said he didn't attribute to you. But What is your regret about what you could have done better, obviously, in that half?
I mean, I'll have to go back and look at the tape. That's the biggest thing. The only thing that I can really think of that comes to mind is trying to force a ball to AK when we're down. Learning from that and not making that mistake again. But, overall, I felt like that was probably my one bad decision. When you go back and look at it, you'll probably say the same. But obviously, I didn't get enough first downs, didn't move the team, and Spencer came in, like I said, did a great job.
When that play happens, or like the misconnection with the drop from MVS, does that affect your momentum at all? Or like
No. I mean, my biggest thing is trying to go one play at a time. I felt like there was points there that just didn't happen for us for whatever reason, and my biggest thing is trying to go one play, the next play, and today it didn't go my way.
Might be the same answer, but is it any different at all in a situation like the play that you referenced where you get the big completion, it happens, but then it gets called back? Like, how challenging is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Like, you're trying to make plays, you're trying to do whatever you can to try to get first downs, and when something happens like that, you just got to kind of take a deep breath and go, to the next play. And, obviously you look at it, the big, choice route I had to AK early, and then get sacked next play. It's, on me. I got to step up in the pocket and make something happen with my feet, and, just things like that you learn and grow from.
And how do you feel about not getting a chance to go out in the second half?
I mean, listen, I obviously want to be able to go and not have that leash be that tight. Felt like I want to go out there and have an opportunity to play a full game. But sometimes it's not up to me. I got to do everything I can to prepare each week. And, I feel like my teammates were confident, in me if I got the opportunity to go in the second half. And you guys see how these games go. Sometimes, even when Derek's in there, it's one half looks like this, the next half totally different. So, you saw that today, and obviously I'm disappointed that we lost, first of all, but second of all, I didn't get that opportunity.
Did the coaches give any indication beforehand that that might be the case, that, if you didn't get out to a fast start, they might go with someone else?
I mean, keep that in-house, but at the end of the day, my job is to go and operate, and I didn't do that, so.
Jake, how did you learn you weren't going to start the second half?
They just came up to me and told me that Spencer was going to get the first opportunity to go in the second half, and obviously, like I said, disappointed. Would have loved the opportunity to go out there and compete with the guys in the second half and have a chance to go and see what their second half game plan was. Are they going to continue to pressure us? Are they going to continue to play 3 deep, 3 under, and get to some of the calls that we talked about and move the launch point? But for whatever reason, we didn't have those opportunities in the first half, and we made them count when it mattered in the second.
The coach said you only had 14 plays. Is it hard to get a rhythm with that few snaps?
Listen, Jeff, I mean, you can make whatever excuse you want for yourself. At the end of the day, my job is to move the team, and if I'm not doing that, then I'm not doing my job. So, I could sit here and feel sorry for myself and go cry to all you guys, but at the end of the day, I just got to go get better and put my head down and, not listen to all the hate that I'm about to receive from everybody, and just keep being myself. Yeah. Good. Thanks, guys.
Well, there you have it from the Saints interim coach Darren Rizzi, defensive end Cam Jordan, both quarterbacks, Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener. One of the things we noticed about that, Scott, is Coach Rizzi said, look, we were going for 2. Yeah. And they had made that decision earlier in the game against the Rams, but he said, look, we were going for the win and not to go into overtime. What did you think about the decision, I guess, and the reasoning for it?
Yeah, I love the decision and I love the reasoning for it because, you kind of, when you start over in halftime, you wipe both slates clean, you say, do I like our offense versus their offense? Which offense do I like more? And I think most people would say Jaden Daniels and that offense, Terry McLaurin, they had a better day overall. So I think as a head coach, when you've had a hard time moving the football all day long and you have an opportunity to mark the ball on the 2.5-yard line and score 2 points and win a game, you're going to do it in that situation. So I think he made the right decision. Obviously, you want it to turn out differently, but you're 2 yards away from winning a game. Go ahead and do it.
Last thing I got to ask you, as a defensive player, you're on the field for 40-plus minutes and 73, I think, plays. Mm-hmm. how much will it mean to have that extra day for recovery, and how much will recovery play in the process this week?
It's going to be huge. That's a lot of plays. Before all the players came out, we talked about the time possession, 40 minutes to 20 minutes. That is a lot of plays. That's a lot of wear and tear on you. And we give the Saints defense a lot of credit for standing up, for being on the football field that long and not giving up the touchdowns that probably could have blew this game open. They hung around long enough to give this offense an opportunity to get back into it. But yeah, that one day extra rest at this point in the season, it's like gold, because you're going to get an opportunity to rest mentally and physically. And like we said, you're going to get to play in front of the national stage audience up there in Lambeau Field. It's going to be a lot of fun for these guys.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us here. This has been the New Orleans Saints post-game report. I'm John DeShazier, Super Bowl champ Scott Shanley, and we will see you next from Green Bay.